What up, everybody? It's Tommy Runs, and this is Aaron Worldwide over here. I'm never gonna get the hang of this. This is the PR Project, Season 2, Episode 4.
What up, yo?
We out here. We out here. How you doing, dog?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what your
It
name
literally doesn't matter how I'm doing, bro. It doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really good, man. I ran a race this morning. Hopped in the whip, got checked out the hotel, drove 4 hours back to the crib to make sure I could be on live with the homies. So we here now.
That's
Feeling pretty good actually.
I see you have a something special around your neck. It looks like
Something special around the neck. I got this Erie marathon little
just
health
got the new
ice
chain out of layaway. That's what's
new
up.
chain out of layaway. I had put some money down on it a few months ago.
Yes,
Picked
sir.
it up today.
Yes,
Crazy
sir.
thing about it is you can put your money down and something it's not always guaranteed to get that boy out of layaway though.
Nah, sometimes they melt it back down and make somebody else chain with it.
Right, exactly. Double back. Yeah, man, no, it was good though. I ran the Erie Marathon this morning. This is stop show number 1 of the redemption tour. Had a really grand time today. It was crazy because the thing with having a race like at this time of the year, it's like a crapshoot of what kind of weather you're gonna get, because you could be sitting there and it was supposed to be 70 something degrees when we started, and as we got closer to today, the temperature started going down. It was supposed to rain in the afternoon, and the temperature did go down, but the rain came earlier, so it was drizzling the whole race over. It was cloudy the whole race, so that actually worked out to our favor because the way that the course was set up, it was it was 2 laps around this island, and half of the course is probably somewhat shaded, and then the rest of the course is just wide open. So if there was Mari, there you go. What's up, Mari? Thank you for the trophies. If it was sunny, we'd all been just screwed because you're just in the sun for 13 miles of the 26. But it worked out perfectly. I couldn't have asked for a better experience than I had today. It was just a great day. I mean, I don't really know where to start. So
I do.
All right, go ahead.
I know. All right. So full transparency, we've got some questions that were submitted to Tommie's Instagram. We'll get to those a little later, but for now, we're just going to kind of get an overview of how race day went for Mr. Runs. So
Okay.
Let's start with yesterday. So I know that you went down to Erie yesterday. You said that was a 4-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some of the feelings that you were feeling yesterday. Like how was this in comparison to any other races that you've ran before?
Okay, so full transparency on my feelings, and normally I would probably try to go the more like humble. I'm gonna be humble about it, but I'll just tell you how I really felt about it. So I drove down Friday. So just to give it more time, I took the kids down to Erie with me, got a hotel. So it was really relaxed and cool. And my main goal yesterday was just to chill out. But honestly, bro, I've always been so worked up for races. Like Glass City when I ran, I mean, you just so nerved up the day before, and you just, I was just always in a different space. But yesterday, leading up to it, I was trying to make myself more anxious for it or worked up for it I just felt like I needed more, something, and I just couldn't get there. So I kind of just let it slide, I was like, you know what, it must mean I felt like I was being arrogant, or just maybe I was underprepared, and maybe I knew I was underprepared or something, but I just could never really get rolling with it. So I just took the time to hang out with the kids. We watched some shows, ate some food, went to the pool, and just kind of sat around and played in the pool for a little bit, and just tried to just ease into the day the next day, and just kind of just enjoy, I guess, and use up the energy or time that we had. So it was really cool. So leading into it, I just felt really kind of sure, I guess, maybe about it, and knew that it was gonna be a point. It's 26.2 miles. I don't care how fit you are. it's 26.2 miles. You're going to have some pain somewhere along the way. It's just about like how great will that pain be, and can you continue running with that pain? So like I felt like I was in a decent place to be able to continue with the pain. I already knew what to expect. I hoped that the pain of the marathon wouldn't start until as far along the road as possible. I mean, just because I guess really the worst thing about a marathon is not really knowing, I guess, where that pain will start. Because if it starts at 16 or 14 or whatever, that's a really rough day, and if you got to start using mantras at certain points, it can get really hectic, but luckily today I didn't have to, I was able to stretch those out a little bit and not really use them until the end. But yeah, so yeah, I answered you a lot of the questions, but yeah.
No, I want you to go with what you feel. So shout out to Malik.
Thanks, Malik.
He said great run, Tommie. So I think so. It's interesting because I've been talking to you throughout this process, and I just think there's something about running a race that doesn't have everything riding on it. I think really that's where our anxiety comes from. Is like this, like for a goal race, especially like a goal race, marathon of the block. It's like everything that I'm doing is in service to this one race.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go well, then everything I did feels like it was in vain.
Yeah.
But for you, this one it wasn't like you wanted to make sure you got your BQ. You wanted to make sure that you nailed your spot down, but also, like there's other opportunities to run a good marathon in this block. So I feel like it was less pressure. So maybe that's what it was. You didn't put as much pressure on yourself as you normally would. And shout out to Dante. We getting money. Tommie got money today for sure. Big bags. So yeah, I think that might have played into it. And also knowing that you've done it before probably put a little bit of surety into your mindset as well.
Yeah, and I knew it wasn't the paces that I needed to hit weren't like PR paces, so I didn't feel like threatened by the pace. It was just really just going to be about the endurance of it, and how long can I last at that pace. But it's like also too, like I mean, getting back to Boston was extremely important. Like so, like the Redemption Tour, like to me, like if something happened today and I wasn't able to BQ, I know that wouldn't be the end of the road because I'm still running those other races. But to me, like the whole Redemption Tour is about like getting redemption on the marathon and then getting back to Boston. So like this was the last chance to do that. So, and I thought about that during the race too, like at one point, and I'm like, oh yeah, today's like the last day. Because if you don't know, like the cutoff to run a qualifying time for Boston is today. And tomorrow registration opens. So it's not like I could have like, oh, okay, I'll try in 2 weeks or something like that. Like, because if you run a race in a different part of the year, you get another chance. But I didn't have that. Yeah. So like that definitely popped up in my head a couple times. Like, I got to make sure this happens today. You know what I'm saying?
So I was just thinking, like, this just popped in my head, random, right? Imagine if you would have qualified, but you didn't have enough money to sign up tomorrow.
Oh, dang,
you got in, but you didn't have the money to clear it, bro. You would have been sick.
No, let me check my bank accounts. Hold up, make sure. Yeah,
in case of emergency.
Hey, if I hit you up on Cash App, like, hey, bro, let me grab like $375 real quick. You know what it's for. I'm good for you. You know where I live.
Bro, this is crazy. But but continuing on with the weekend, so pretty smooth on the lead up. I know a little more about this, but can you share your journey to the start line this morning?
Oh, okay. So I was at one point in this process, I said to myself, like, this is the craziest rookie mistake ever. Like, so the race was on this like island, like in a metro type or state park area, like on this island, and you have to park up at this water park. And when I say up, it's like literally up the hill, a half mile up this hill to back to the parking lot, which I'll talk about after the race, because like that's the only like this race was perfect. That seems ridiculous. Like there's no other way we could park that's a little closer, that's not up a hill. I mean, it was
Or
a
at
hill.
least provide like golf cart service.
It was like a hill, not like a little like hump in the road. It was like a hill. Like on a race, you would be. It's ridiculous. But so I parked in the lot. I was like, you know what? I don't ever use bag check. So I've said on this show and many other times, never try nothing new on race day ever. Don't try no new shoes, even if they're the same shoe from that you already used to. Always running the shoe anyway. Never try nutrition new, all that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna use a bag check because it's a half mile. I want to go down there, relaxed and comfortable. I'm gonna change and all that. And so I get all the way down this hill. I'm talking to this guy because he's like, "Oh, are you Tommie Run?" So I'm like, I'm in my like celebrity bag and I'm like talking and all this other stuff. I get all the way down this hill, all getting close to where the bag check is, and then I realize that I don't have my shoes, my running shoes, in the bag because I took them out of the bag because I was gonna try to. I don't know what I was doing in the car. I had them in the bag, took them out the bag.
You was doing the most. That's all.
Doing the absolute most. Because there was traffic getting into the parking lot. So I'm like, that's when you start fidgeting with stuff. I'm like, let me take the shoes out, make sure I got I don't know. So I took them out, and then I realized it. And you already know I'm slightly chaotic with time sometimes. And
I found a new word for it. I saw it on Twitter the other day.
What is it?
Time blindness.
Okay, I like that better than chaotic.
Yeah, you just got a little time blindness. That's all.
Time blindness. I just, it has to be right in front of me. But like it was like I got there in plenty enough time. I just didn't realize the parking lot was just gonna be so backed up. So I sat in line for like 15 minutes, whatever. Finally got there with plenty enough time to walk down the hill, relax and stretch and all that. So, but at that point when I turned around to have to go back and run up this hill in my slides, it was.
What kind of slides did you have on?
UFO slides.
Oh, okay.
UFO slides. So if I had any other slides, I probably wouldn't have raced today. But they're nice, bouncy. They're like a super shoe without the plate. So like I'm going back up the hill, and I had about like 15 to 16 minutes to get back up this hill a half mile away, and then get back down the hill. You know, so I went back to the car, changed, put my shoes on, all that stuff. Started jogging back down the hill, trying not to my heart's racing at this point. Cause like you got to be there when it starts. Cause the worst thing in a marathon is to not have anybody to run with, you know, like, cause that's the point of like being in your proper corral and being there on time is so you can run with people that are running your pace. So it's not like you just out there alone. Cause that's just like, that's a hard thing to do. So as I can see the start line about like 300-400 meters up, and I hear like the bullhorn go off, and I see the people take off. So like at that point, I was like, what do you do? You know, like, do you run faster to get there? And I was like, nope, I'm gonna stop and go to this porta potty real quick. And then I was in the porta potty talking to myself, like, what can you control? Like I said it out loud because nobody's around. I'm like, what can you control? And the thing I could control was slowing down, accepting this moment, you know, surrendering to the moment, and then just getting to the start line within a couple minutes after that, stretching, and then just taking off on my own time. And that's what I did. And if I didn't do that, I know for sure that the anxiety of that moment would have messed up the whole thing. So like I was able to just slow down, take a moment, control what I could control, which was me, and that's it. Slow down, catch your breath, get settled, take off. And I took off, started my watch right on time, you know, but like I was still a little anxious to go, so I didn't wait for my GPS to catch up. Because normally when we run in, like your GPS don't catch up, you hit the button and 20 seconds later it's good. It didn't click until like mile 3, so it had me at like 9-minute pace, 8-minute pace, and I know that like I'm going 6:30 or something here, you know. So I didn't let that bother me either, which was a surprise. I was just moving my way through all these crowds. The first group I passed was the 5-hour marathoners, and they was just packed up. And I'm like, dog, that's 5 hours. I got to catch up to the 3-hour marathoners now. But it was crazy. It was a crazy start to like a really great day, and I'm glad I just let the moment happen and didn't get too caught up, you know.
Yeah, the porta potty stop was kind of
too much.
A nice touch. It's like that meme that was like, if I'm going to work and I'm going to be late, I might as well stop for food because I ain't trying to be late and hungry. It's like, yo, I mean, you
Right,
know what I'm saying?
right,
You
right.
late already. You might as
Right.
well.
So you might as well like cause like a year ago I would have forced myself to get to that start line because of the anxiety of the moment and just having to have everything be perfect. And I think I would have ruined the day if I did that. So I'm glad I was able to like just collect that moment and be aware and intentional about starting the race. So then I took off.
And shout out to Gary. He said, I think it's impressive to be in a position to BQ and that not be your A goal. Not a lot of runners have that option. It's a unique position to be in. It is absolutely a unique position to be in. I think I feel the same way. And Dante also feels the same way. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy that you are able to do this. And yeah, I don't want that to go unsaid because
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was yeah, like it's not like lost on me. Like even during the marathon, I was like, I had a couple moments where I was just like, okay, this is not an honor, but this is yes, an honor to be able to like to be in this position to do something like this, and not be too pressed about it either, because it is a last chance Boston qualifier day, like so a lot of people out there today were like, this is it, and some people didn't get it, and but a lot of people did. So yeah, I'm just blessed to be in this moment.
for sure. And I like what Malik says. He said, in a marathon, something always throws you off, no matter how much you prep, all in how you handle it. Absolutely. There's going to be a moment where you have a decision to make. Am I going to allow this to bother me, or am I going to see it through? And I agree. And I think that's more than just the marathon. That's almost a metaphor for life. We can prep as much as we want. I know Joe always references the Andre 3000 line. You can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather. Like, you can do all the planning in the world, but something is going to happen. But that's what we prepare for. We're prepared to minimize the option, the ability of other things to bother you, but we also train in order to be prepared for the worst.
Yeah, because like that's the thing. Like it's because there's so many things that are out of our control on a day like this, where the last thing you want is to not be prepared. You want last thing you want is for your body to not be prepared. Like so that's what like all the miles are for. I mean, it is to run faster and easier and all that stuff, but it's like you just want to be prepared for like the moment. So the only thing bothering you is like external things, like as much as possible. Cause like in a marathon, eventually internal is gonna go a little crazy too. And we could talk about when mine got a little wild, but yeah.
So you said the GPS clicked in at about the 5K point.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that kind of gave you a bit of like clarity and kind of relaxed you a bit. Like, okay, I've gotten past this obstacle. On to the next thing. So did you feel yourself settle in around it or no?
Well, because it actually was like at mile 2 is when it like clicked in, because what I did was like halfway through mile 2, I like stopped my watch for a second and started it right back up to see like if it would like restart to try to acquire or whatever, and it didn't right away. So I'm like, you know what I'm just gonna do is just auto lap every time I see the sign, and then it doesn't matter what. It still wouldn't tell you your pace though. So like I was just prepared to just maybe feel it out and see where I was at. But when that did click over and it started to show like my actual pace, I slowed down because I was going too fast.
Yeah.
And I was able to like settle in, and that was cool. And they did a really good job. The course did the people that set up the race did a really good job at like making sure that the miles were correct. Like your miles are ringing off at the right times and all that stuff. So yeah, like once that clicked in, it was like, okay, now we can just relax. But then I was running by myself the whole time too. Like, so it was just, that was tough because, like you see people ahead of you but you just catch them. And then like, and you're just by yourself. Like, so it was like, I'd run with somebody.
A rich man's problems. You just see people ahead of you and you just keep catching them. It's just like,
they just keep. No, like it was like, because I was hoping at some point, like around 12, 13 miles is when people were like starting to like, it was starting to kind of settle in. But even then you're still, if you're catching them, then you're still going a little faster. It's like, so it was just a weird day. And I just had to be like, okay with just running just alone. So I was solo, like I was going to say like 26.2 miles, but I was solo for 26.2 miles, just I'd see somebody that like would know me or I'd know them and then say something to them and I'd run with them for a second, but then realize like I'm like, all right, I gotta go. But
Yeah. Being a
yeah,
guy that ran quite a bit of a marathon by myself, well,
yeah,
actually, I was being stalked. I feel you. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to run a marathon around a bunch of people because I
yeah,
haven't done that yet, and it seems like an
yeah.
interesting time.
Yeah, I think because I had the opportunity to do that at Glass City, and that was really cool because it was like 6 or 7 of us almost the whole way together, and that's awesome to be able to exchange leads and not really think about yourself. There's so many things going on around you.
Yeah,
But
tapping
yeah,
into that collective consciousness.
yeah, that's always a good thing to do in a marathon.
So, would you say you hit a flow state early on in that marathon? Did you find that rhythm and just felt like it
Yeah,
was automatic?
yeah, like so you want me? Yeah, I'll just go through. As soon as I got the GPS started clicking, I think I got a few miles off at like almost probably a little too fast just from where I wanted to be at that moment. But I was just able to kind of like rein it in when I needed to and all that stuff. So I just started locking in, trying to think about like when I'm gonna take these when I take my gels, take the UCAN every 4 miles, and then going through that moment. I had a weird patch at like 7 to 9. Well, like no, really like 6 to about 9, where I couldn't, like I just felt like I felt like I was about to like start the food was gonna come up or whatever. Like I just felt nauseous for some reason, and that's super early. So I'm like, dog, like what's gonna happen here? Like, and I was a couple times I was thinking about just pulling over and just getting it done, but I was able to kind of just get through that. And I just didn't take any fuel or water for a little bit just to like let it settle, and then I was able to take more water. Um, Honestly, like if you got a BQ out trying to get a BQ out there, like, and you like looking for it next year, this race was so great for that because they had a fueling station every mile where they had water, Gatorade every single mile. So if you needed it, it was there. So like I was able to grab a bunch of water because I didn't want to be dehydrated for any reason. So anyway, so flow state, I just rolled through and I started clicking off miles pretty not easily, but just feeling really good about the process. I was like metronome out there, like literally every mile was almost the same for all the way through like 10, and then 11 and 12 I kind of like slowed down a little bit because it's like this kind of exposed area where and I think it's kind of windy, so you just kind of slow down a little bit. And they had some hills, like it wasn't like a completely flat course, but it was the hills were so minimal that just a great day out there for me, really. And if you look at my paces, like I'm actually kind of like I'm looking at them right now, like they're like everything's exactly the same until right around the end. So I got to like mile. I'm gonna answer one of the IG questions real quick before. I know we're not supposed to be doing that right yet, but it was a really good question though because I think Ern asked it. Ern said the mile in Boston where things fell apart. When you hit that mile in Erie, what were your thoughts? So like everything fell apart for me in Boston at like 14 to 15. So today when I got to like 15 or 16, like I kind of smiled because that wasn't the case. So my knee was actually like mile 1 through about 4, I felt it. And I was nervous. Like you shouldn't feel it this early. So I'm like, well, here we go. Hopefully I'm going to push through as far as I can. And then it just went away. But mile 14, 15, I kind of smiled like, yo, this is a good day. I feel blessed. This is great. Cause I went through the mile 13 mark around, I went through mile 13 at like an hour and 27 minutes. And I had to do my own math because the clocks that they had were off. So I just want to make sure I just went everything off my watch, even though that was off as well. I was like, I passed at 127 and some change. So I'm like, I'm on point. This is perfect. And then when I got to like 16, I knew I was still rolling well. And I'm like, this is the day. Like, this is it. Like, and I felt so good, like at that point. Like, and I kept doing like self checks to make sure, like, not like dwelling on how I feel, but just like, are you all right? Like,
Yeah.
are you okay? And I would look at it like, not are you okay? Because the answer is probably really no at mile 16. Like, you don't feel fresh, but like, and I was like, okay, how do you feel compared to a big workout with high mileage? And I'm like, oh, I don't feel like that. I don't feel that bad. And then how do you feel compared to like Falmouth race, where it was like a 7 mile race all out pretty much? And I was like, I'm nowhere near that level of like pain and want to stop. So let's just keep rolling. So, and I didn't really think about Boston a lot until like mile like 18, 19, where like I had a day that didn't require mantras as much as like they had in the past. Like I'd start thinking about my kids and all the other stuff just to like kind of get things going. The only mantra that I said over and over, which is rather dramatic, was Boston. Like just straight up, I said Boston. Like that was it. And I said it like a mile like 19. I said it like mile 23. 24, 25 were the hardest miles of this day. Just because you're number one, I'm crappy at math, right? So at like I thought I had 3K left. So I'm like, all right, 21 minutes tops, we in, you know? And then I saw, like, I mean, if I went down to 7, because I was like having a moment, you know, like if I got down to 7 miles or a 7 minute mile pace.
3 miles. You said 3K. I'm like
5K. No,
21
5K.
minutes over 3K.
You're
not gonna get me.
So like I got to like mile I thought I was at mile 23. I'm like, I got 5K left, 21 minutes at the most, and looked at the time, I'd be well within, BQ status. And then I saw the mile thing pop up, mile 22. I'm like, damn, dog, I got 4 more miles. So like it took me a mile and a half to like shake the fact that I thought I had less time.
Yeah.
But so mile 24, 25 were the hardest of the day. And I was just like, it's just this straight stretch and it's kind of rolly a little bit. And it just was like, I'm like, though, like, I know I wasn't ever going to stop, but it was just like one of those things where it's like, I was really doing all the math, trying to see how much slower I could go, still hit the pace. I never slowed down, but like, I was trying to give myself a bunch of outs, but I was able to like kind of Boston myself back into it. And then just look ahead. Like one of the things like that's cool about racing and the mental tricks that we play. If you pick somebody that's ahead of you, even if they're like super far ahead of you, just keep them on keep them in your sights. You just continue to like start kind of picking away, like you just try to bring that rope a little closer. Like I know you always say like trying to hold on to the rope. Sometimes you just got to cast that rope out far and try to like just continually. And as sometimes they get a little bigger and they start coming back to you. And that gives you there's a lot of motivation there. And once you finally get closer and closer to them, it's like, it's definitely an achievement once you catch somebody that was ahead of you by, quite some bit. So I just kept doing that, kept going forward, trying to use the crowd for for whatever motivation that was there. And then for some reason, the mile 26 in the marathon is the longest mile that you'll ever run in your life. Half mile takes 27 minutes to go by. The last half takes about 30, and you just feel like you're going to die, but you just feel great. You know what I mean?
So did you have that moment? Because I know every good race for sure, Redemption Energy. And this as well. Aaron said way to conquer. Yeah, for sure. Did you have that moment? Every race that I've had, that I've hit the goal that I had like set out for myself, it's like I have a moment. And it's usually obviously in the latter stages of the race where you just like, you almost transcend your body and you like be like, yo, I'm really doing this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Did you have that moment? I know it probably wasn't as dramatic because like you've done it before, but
yeah,
like just that moment of like, I'm really doing this.
Yeah, I think I think right around like when I got through that rough patch in like mile 24, 25, when I like I started cracking a smile because like at this point, no matter what happens, like it's gonna happen. You're like, I'm gonna make it to the line. And I had that moment then where it was just like, it felt great to be able to like redeem myself. I mean, I know I didn't have to, like I still ran a good race in Boston, all things considered, all that other stuff. But like, I'm just not that type of person where I'm like, well, I did good. Like I want to do.
You're not a moral victory guy at all.
I want to do what I want to do. And like, that's my victory. Like if I set a goal, I want that. And that's it. Like, and if anything else less than that, then it's just not a success for me, But so like, as soon as I realized like that was going to happen, I just soak it all in and just enjoy the rest of this experience. And, waved to the people that had like cheered you on, because it was a loop twice. So there's a couple people that had yelled out like, 141, whatever, go well, whatever. This one lady, it was funny though. This one lady, she must have seen me like running back to my car and then running back down, because I think I might have passed her going up the hill and then back down. She saw me at like mile like 8, and she was like, 141. I knew you were gonna catch up. And then and I seen her again on the second time, and then she was like, "Oh, you're crushing it!" Like, so like people that are just like don't know you at all, but just like cheer for you, like that was really cool. And I kind of like just tried to enjoy the atmosphere, and then just realized like today was the day, like and it honestly, bro, like I was definitely like relieved that I'm not printing out a bunch of shirts with like stop number 1 did not qualify for Boston. Like I wasn't worried about it, but like it was a relief to know that like the redemption tour is still cracking. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Still rolling, still active. So we are 30 minutes in. So let's jump into some of those questions that you have from Instagram. And it would be cool if I had the questions, because then I could actually like serve a purpose right here. But you're gonna ask yourself the question, and you're also going to answer the question. So I'll just jump in the comment section with the rest of our friends and watch.
Okay, all right, yeah, you just sit back. I got this. So I'll start with Rich Sense 85 said, do you ever deal with cramping? So I had a side stitch, pretty rough, at like mile 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. But it was just like one of those things where every now and then I would just like kind of stretch. I guess you're supposed to like breathe into it. So even though it's more painful to do, I think the problem is sometimes with like stomach cramps is we like shorten our breath, and it doesn't like allow things to move around the right way. So like I just kind of stretched into it a couple times and took deep breaths that like were painful, but I think it just kind of helped it go away. And I tried my best to continue to drink water and all that stuff. I took salt tablets, the salt stick beforehand to try to get away from cramping. Didn't have any cramping issues. Felt a little like hamstring tightness at one point, but that was just like it came and went really quick. So yeah, the cramping thing, yeah, like I think everybody deals with it at times, but luckily I didn't have that today, and I stayed hydrated. Gary is a runner, said, doesn't all that running hurt your knees? And did you win? So running does hurt your knees sometimes, and I did win my own race.
Hey,
so I did that.
Reframe.
And then
he didn't win.
No, I didn't win at all.
Did not win the race.
Not even close. The winner was like 2 hours 32 minutes.
Not bad.
Not bad.
$50 cashier's check.
And then Josh Schools, or what? I don't know if I'm saying that right at all. Said, were you happy with the Endorphin 3s? I wore the Endorphin Pro 3 today, and I have to say that I was very happy with the way that it performed. I thought about that at mile like 22. I'm like, this is going pretty well. I had a hot spot in them, but it was raining the whole time, so like I'm chalking that up for wet shoes. It doesn't work out normally. So yeah, I did like the Endorphin Pro 3s. Black is White 89 says, what is your go-to night prior / morning of race nutrition? I don't like have a go-to for the day before. I just make sure I got a lot of carbs going in for the first few days or for the days leading up to it. They say people that carb load like the night before, it's not really doing the justice of carb loading. You're supposed to start like 2 to 3 days beforehand, so your body really gets going. So I just do a lot of carbs. Morning of, I did oatmeal and some toast with peanut butter and banana. And you got your fat, you got your potassium for cramps, and you got carbs. What is biggest factor in being able to maintain goal pace for the last 10K? That's a good question.
Let me know, because I definitely couldn't do it.
Oh, you already know the answer. So you train in a marathon training block. You don't train to run the first 20 miles fast or like well and healthy and whatever. You train do all these miles to get to a point where you are used to running on tired legs and mildly beat up and still able to hit your paces. So if you're doing the proper amount of mileage, the proper amount of like long runs to workout ratio and tempo, in that collective 12 to 16 week or 18 week block, that's what gets you to the 20 the last 10K and still running fairly well, even though your like body and legs are screaming, like that's how you continue, and that's what you train for. So remember that while you're training and you feel like, man, this workout sucks and I want to stop. Sometimes you do have to pull the plug, not saying you don't, but if you're able to stick in those workouts that are trash, just to at least to the end of the workout and maybe stop and pause before the cool down or something, that'll help you, because the memory banks will be like, yo, this doesn't feel as bad as that one time I finished that like 6x1K workout. That's really what you're looking for, is the mileage and consistency.
And if I could add my 2 cents to it, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and he was basically saying that the benefit that experienced runners have is they understand how their body feels when it's at its maximum. Like they understand like how their form begins to break down. And if you even look at like a lot of, if you just like watch the last 5 to 10K of marathons, you'll see some of these elite runners, their form begins to break down pretty bad.
Yeah.
But they're able to keep pace. They're able to keep going because they've been there before. They've exposed themselves to that level of discomfort, and they can handle it for a longer period of time. Because early on, especially when I first started training, at the first sign of like discomfort or the first sign of like any kind of issues, I didn't know how to react to it. This was the Strength Running podcast a couple weeks ago. He had I'll get the name while Tommie answers the next question, but and he was just saying like that is the biggest difference between novice runners and experienced runners, is that experienced runners know how to deal with that discomfort of exerting yourself past what you're normally used to. And you only really can get that through experience, because I can tell Tommie till he's blue in the face, it's going to get hard at 22 or whatever. But until you experience that and you get through it, or you experience that and it knocks you back a little bit, you won't know. So I think you got to get out there. You got to run workouts that push you pretty close to that, or run long runs that get you close to that feeling to introduce yourself to it and kind of see what it feels like.
I mean, because like if you're doing a training block and if you're consistent with your training block all the way through, 3 to 5 weeks before the marathon is going to be your peak weeks. So like 3 to 5, right? Or 3 to 6, somewhere in there. It'd be like your peak weeks. And so your legs and your body are going to be tired. You're still doing some of your biggest workouts, and you're doing your longest long runs. So if you are able to string together those, just think about the fact that this is what the end of the marathon is going to feel like. Like don't go like, oh, I feel like crap right now. Like that's good. Like continue to push through. Try to finish that workout. Try to finish that interval, whatever. Because that's what it's going to feel like the most. The marathon is worse than that at times, but at least you're familiar with the discomfort. So I agree with that 100%. Strength Running podcast is dope.
Yeah, and that was the episode from August 25th with Matt Menard. He's a movement specialist, I guess you would say. But he had a lot of good insight, so I would definitely recommend that episode for sure.
That's dope. And then so we got TS Run MD says, shoe question. Oh, wow. A6 Metaspeed Sky Plus or Saucony Endorphin Pro 3 for a marathon. It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for super comfortable, bouncy-ish shoe, then I'll probably go for like Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. But if you are looking for, if you're in the market for a more firm, not firm, but like a firmer type of ride and very snappy and quick, then I would go for the Metaspeed Sky Plus. Like, so when I run Chicago, I'm going to probably do the Metaspeed Sky Plus because that's going to be hopefully a slightly faster effort for the miles that I'm going to be putting in. So, yep. So that's the answer to that one. So Stephen Love Wade says, how? Effing how? LOL. This shit is amazing to watch. how does the recovery look? What does the recovery look like? Recovery looks like I jumped in the Epsom salt bath before I left the hotel.
Malik had a
Um,
similar question as well. Given that
oh,
you have Chicago up, what does your rest period look like post Erie? So I think you could kind of
yeah,
work
so
off of that.
recovery today looked like just jumping in the Epsom salt bath right away. Staying moving because just sitting down, I think that's just the worst thing to do. I'm gonna take off tomorrow, and then I'm gonna probably actually no, sorry, scratch that. I'm gonna try to run like 2 miles tomorrow, and then skip Tuesday, run on Wednesday, skip Thursday, run Friday, and then hopefully by Saturday, Sunday, I'll be able to start kind of ramping back up because I have to. I got Chicago coming, so I need to get those miles back up. So I'm hoping to be back to like 40 miles ish next week, maybe.
Nice.
All right. So what else we got? What was your Ron Slangen says? What was your most important work in this training build? All of it. Not
I
to be
think, and I
dumb.
think I could answer this for you. I think um, the most important part of this portion of the block for you was just going through it and not um, experience any setbacks.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
think you really needed to build the mental confidence that your body is going to cooperate and not break down on you. So I was right next to you for quite a bit of the training, and I don't think you had anything that was like super
no,
crazy or
yeah,
super above your head. But I think it was more so just getting back out there and showing yourself
yeah,
that you can make it through a nice segment of training to
yeah.
prepare to accomplish the goal that you accomplished today. So I
And
think
then
that was the most important part.
to add on to that too, like I think so maybe the most important work that I did was the recovery steps in work. So I added in strength training to this block. Shout out to name drop. Shout out to Nell Rojas for um, hooking it up and giving me some cool workouts to do. We had her on the show. Go back, check that episode out. She's really big into adding strength training and not just doing like little runner exercises. Like she's doing like weightlifting and all that stuff. So it's dope. So that definitely helped out. I thought about that on the run too. Like, I'm ready for this. And then, going to ramp and going to places that are like recovery based places. So you get your sports massages, and then they kind of work on, as you're going through a training block, you experience different moments and different feelings. And if you are able to go to a place like a recovery type place, they can work on different things as you go through, because like sometimes at home foam rolling is cool, which is a great thing to do, but sometimes you need like a professional to like, yo, this is, you have like this, here's what we're working on today. So that was a big deal too. So recovery, and then obviously the consistency of being able to go through the whole training block. I knew you was gonna put that up there. So my mama says Aaron is a great training partner for you, and I do agree. He's also a decent co-host.
I think I'm a better training partner than co-host, to be honest. But that's just me.
I don't know. I don't know. You're pretty good at the co-hosting. Bridge Diva, which is somebody's mom. I don't know whose mom she is. She's either Tony D'Amato or Kira D'Amato's. I think she's Tony D'Amato's, Kira D'Amato's husband's mom. So she's a very big fan of mine for some reason. And she said, "What's your PR?" My PR is 2 hours, 48 minutes, and 43 seconds. And then Stace Monroe says, "When did it get tough?" It got tough around 23, 24, 25. And I think I got to stop doing this too, because I hit mile 20 and was like, "Oh, this is where the marathon starts." And then like as soon as you say that, you feel so good for like mile 20, 21. All of a sudden you realize like I'm at a point where my body's supposed to hurt, and then things just start breaking down. I'm sure it's really actually happening, but at the same time, it doesn't help that you just concede to that.
Yeah.
So I think I just got to stop telling myself that during the race.
I agree. I felt the same way. I used to do that with workouts. Like, okay, it's gonna get hard right here. Like, don't suffer imagined troubles, right? Like, don't pull out. Don't think about, oh, it's supposed to be tough right here. Like, let it get tough. Don't make it tough.
Yeah. And then my mom said, "Did you have fun?" I did have fun today. This was definitely type 2 fun. I did a lot of high-fiving some little kids. It was really nice because they had 13 aid stations, at 13 water and Gatorade stations. And then at the end of it, you could vote for your favorite water station. So like each station had like this crazy amount of energy because they're trying to win the thing or whatever. And I voted for the one that had like 50 kids. It was wild. And like you just slap, and I don't normally do that. Like I'm always really serious in the running thing. But I was having a good day and I just kind of like try to soak up that atmosphere. Yeah, I had fun. I had definitely had fun. I cracked a lot more smiles than probably ever before. I got to this one guy. He was like a mile, like 8 and 50. I don't know, 8 and whatever, something like that. And I saw him. He had a sign up because I started reading the signs like in the first pass, and I said, oh, "Yo, stop reading the signs now because you're gonna see him again, and you're gonna want to think about him the next time around." So I just stopped looking at signs. But I saw his sign. It said, May the course be with you." And then so I saw him a second time and I was like, dang, deja vu. Was you here before? And he was like, trust me, I was here before and hopefully you don't have to see me again. So like I don't normally do all that. And I had fun today. It was cool. It was definitely a cool vibe. Thanks, Mom, for always making sure that I have fun.
And Life Goes On 008 asks, what was your fueling strategy during the race? So yeah, tell me about that. How many UCANs did you set your PR on gels consumed in a marathon?
I did not set my gels on too. I brought 6 with me. I took one, which wasn't gonna do. So I took one before the race, just to slow myself down between that little porta potty stop and the go. So I took one there just to relax and settle in, and then I had that like stretch where I just didn't feel like I couldn't take fuel safely. So I think I took 4 altogether, which ties my PR for taking. And it worked out. And I definitely made sure, like there was one point when I had to make a decision whether do I take it on time here and risk like not being able to take it again, or do I wait a little bit and then take it at like mile 21:20, 21:22, so I can get that like surge or help of energy at the end. And that's what I worked out. So yeah, I did use UCAN Edge packets to go. I had orange and pineapple. I tried to interchange them a little bit to like, throw a little, some excitement into the run. And I had a great time. Liked it a lot. Saw a lot of I saw like so many Morton packs on the ground, unopened. It was weird. It was like, was somebody just like, oh, I don't want it. Like I don't know what was going on. Maybe
they were trying to figure out how to get back to the car.
Right. Oh, like yeah,
tossing Morton packs down. Like yeah.
I saw, so one guy was running in front of me. It was like mile 24. He took his gel out and then just like flipped it in the air over his head and landed on the ground.
He said, "Whoever may need this."
He was like, "I don't need it," but I don't know what his thing was. Oh, can I tell about this one guy who farted?
Absolutely.
So this guy had on headphones. It was super quiet. It was just me and him. He was about like 15 feet ahead of me. And then it's raining. We're all like, wet or whatever. He let out this fart that sounded like a small dog bark. And it made me jump because like I like looking for a dog and there was nobody around. And I'm like, and I finally caught, like I moved over because I didn't want to draft behind that. And he had on headphones, so I don't even know if he knows how loud the fart was, but it was. When
you let that thing rip, he knew.
The vibrations were felt, brother. But I don't know. I didn't see him later, but I hope he had a good day because that was impressive, whatever that was.
So, was that the final question, or do you got more?
I think I got one more. I'm not even gonna go there. Shoe for next marathon. Shoe for next marathon will most likely be the Metaspeed Sky Plus, unless I like the Puma Tracksmith Deviate Nitro Elite a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, and it's not. It wouldn't. And somebody was asking me like, why did I choose the Saucony Pro 3? Because I like them, but then I also wanted to like. It's not like they were good enough, and they felt good enough for me to give it a try. I wouldn't have risked it just because I'm the shoe guy to like run a shoe that I didn't like. But I also like a lot of these shoes are getting really good, you know, like, and so why not, if I have the ability to, why not test them out and give you like my real like opinion on them?
Yeah.
If they were like subpar, I'm definitely not even gonna try it just to say I did it.
Yeah.
But you know, like some of these shoes are way up there, like in quality, and in the energy return is there, and it's the comfort is there. So for a long time it was just like Nike and Asics, really, you know, that like were just really had a shoe that was competitive like that. So now a lot of, you know, I'm willing to spread the wealth and get some real feedback out here, you know.
Yeah. And test them out for the purpose that they are intended for.
Yeah,
Because we wear them on these long runs, or we wear them during these workouts. But it's like these are marathon racing shoes, so let's see what they can do over 26.2 miles.
Right, and then you know, and people really like the Puma DV8 Nitro Elite 1 or 2, but people really like them, you know. And I haven't run in them yet, and I think you know,
you're gonna enjoy
if they knock my socks off, I'll go for it.
So I see that you have the singlet behind you. How'd the Twilight tank work for you?
Twilight tank was good. I wish it wasn't raining, because like no tank is good at, you know, when it's raining. It's a really lightweight tank, so I didn't feel like, remember we wore those tanks in Savannah. Those are a little thicker quality, so they were a little heavier. The Twilight tank is a good option for that, because Tracksmith has the Van Cortlandt, and that would have been terrible today, just because like they're already a thicker, you know, material, and just a rainy day, you just don't want that extra thought. But it was great. It was great, cool, good look, good vibe, nice details on it. I liked it a lot, and it's right there.
There it is. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, all in all, man, it was a really great day. I was like, when I crossed the finish line, I chuckled, bro. Like I was like, because it just felt like really good to go and almost know that I was gonna do it, and then do it. Like my goal was 255 to 257, and it was really 255. But like I was willing to, like, you know, whatever happens, you know. But when I looked down at my watch, it says 255.01 or something like that, or something. I was like I just was like, this is great. This is a great day.
You felt that monkey come off your back?
Right. And then, because, yeah, it was great. It was a great day. And it was really cool because I was running next to this guy right at the end who you could visibly see the cramp like pop up in the back of this dude's leg. Like, because he reached for it. I was like, oh. And I was like, you got it, brother. Like, and I slowed down a little bit with him. Like, it was like right there in the chute for 200 meters left. And I just kind of ran with him a little bit. He was struggling through. So, I mean, I think he definitely made it to the finish line, but it was a tough day. But I just liked being at that point. Super happy with today. Did everything worked out well, even all the other stuff that happened before. If it didn't happen, I'm not sure what would have happened after that. So very thankful. My coach said, like, you know, like maybe that whole mishap in the beginning was a good thing because you ran your own race the whole time, literally ran your own race. So everything happened the way it should, man. And I'm really happy with it. And I think that, like, I feel like this last training block, and purposely trying to have fun with the training block. You know, because like I've always been so serious about the training, and like, you know, you stand up and you moaning and groaning and all that because you know, you just putting in miles.
Dower came with the perfect timing. Perfect timing question.
How'd you celebrate or plan to celebrate? I plan to celebrate by going to get my favorite Indian food after this thing is over. That's like my first step on celebrating. And then this is a celebration to be able to talk about it, because normally I would just, like, for something like this, honestly, like the way I've tend to do is just kind of like dismiss stuff after it happens and just move on. I mean, because I really do have stuff next, you know what I mean? And I'm doing something really cool this week, so I'm like looking forward to that. But it's like, right? It's like, I can't even think now. Normally I probably won't celebrate, but I'm definitely gonna be. I'm happy about it, and I'm just grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I think the other races I've done, I wasn't always grateful for them. Like, I had PR, and if it wasn't the PR I wanted, then I wasn't happy about it. You know, and everything happened beautifully today. I spent time with the kids this weekend. They did not come to the race because it was raining, so I'm like, I just want them standing out in the rain. You know, I don't really care what they do. Like, they be fine. But I was like, you know what? It's no point in dragging them out of the room at like 5 something in the morning to go stand in the rain. So, but I was able to kick it with them afterwards, drive back. 4 hour drive after running a marathon is
Probably not ideal.
wicked, wicked. But
Should let Aaron drive.
I asked her, you want to drive? She was like, no, no. But yeah, I plan to celebrate by like just being happy with the moment and openly like enjoying this time. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I'll celebrate for sure when I register for for Boston tomorrow.
when the money clear.
When the money clears, I'll be happy.
So yeah, I don't think we're gonna do a showcase. We're running pretty long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just want to say congrats to you, Tommie. Proud of you.
Thank you.
I think everybody that's watching right now had a pretty good feeling that you would nail this. You're a fucking superhero. We already know that. So yeah, man, shout out to you. Super inspiring. As always, and I'm sure you felt the love on social media and everything. I know you haven't made your official breakdown and all of that yet, but the work that you're doing is so inspirational. It's so important for people like us to see. So yeah, man, just happy to see you check that box off. And yeah, I need you to get through this recovery week so we can get back in our bag for New York, because I need my training partner back. This week has been very solo and lonely.
Yeah. So yeah, Shannon been saying don't call it a comeback before I even started coming back. But yeah, I honestly, man, I do appreciate everybody that says everything. Like it means a lot to like, because this journey has been life changing for me. Like because I feel like this running and this part of the Tommie runs part of it was an extension in all due to sobriety. So like when people say like comment like how good I'm doing this with this running thing, I always link the two, because without one there would be no this. So like to hear people and see people like really tap in and show love and support and repost stuff that I put up and all that stuff, it just means the world to me, because it's like the confirmation that that some of us just don't get enough of to when we're on the right path. Like you see so many people do good things and it just goes unrecognized, and I don't think that I'm making any big change or anything like that, but I'm just like living my life and living this running life like openly. So like you see if I fail, you see if I miss or do well or whatever. And I just appreciate that you all appreciate the transparency, because it just says just keep doing that thing, and that to me means train, be true to like the things that I'm saying, and share like my ups and downs and all that, because we're all there though too. Like that's the other part, is like like the wall. I'm not gonna let's just drag this on, but like the wall, like I was saying to somebody, like what's the wall feel like it, or how do you handle like hitting the wall in a marathon? I think everybody hits the wall in the marathon. It's just how thin is the wall, like, and what's the thickness of the wall? Because in the beginning of the like when you're first new to this and you just did maybe undertrained, that's like a 10-foot concrete wall that you're running into, and it will stop you. But the more you train, the more you get used to it, and the more marathon training blocks you do, or half, whatever it is, the more training blocks you do to get used to that discomfort and get stronger, that wall becomes thinner and thinner. Like I hit it today, but I feel like I was able to just kind of break through without too much work in it.
To extend that metaphor,
yeah.
I don't believe the wall gets thinner.
You just get stronger.
You have more tools to dismantle the wall.
Yeah. I like both.
Get bigger. That pickaxe get bigger and bigger, and you're able to knock that wall down.
You just made me feel like I'm doing my work. I want the wall to be thinner. Okay.
Because it's gonna be there.
It's there.
Eventually, you got a bulldozer. You know what I'm saying? And you just blast go right through it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Jerome Bettis, all that, just right straight through, bust
like Le'Veon Bell on Adrian Peterson yesterday.
He not? Oh, come on, man!
Knocked that boy out. He knocked that boy out. But we ain't talking about
that. Yeah, no, super appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for tapping in. Thank you so much for the support.
Quick training update for me.
Okay, go.
I ran 19 miles today. Total, I ran 31 miles this weekend.
You was only supposed to run 18.
Things happened. The route got a little different. It was cool. No big deal.
I feel
77 miles for the week. We are getting in training. We outside.
You actually outside.
Really be outside. See, look, as soon as I start talking about my training, people be like, I'm out of here.
Right. Oh. Alexa said, if you make friends with discomfort, you'll never be alone. That is sadly very true. You know?
Discomfort kind of mean, though.
Yeah, no.
It's not the greatest friend in the world.
Man, I'm trying to think of what my highlight for the day was. Oh, one thing that I think is just hilarious is that you could cross the finish line running whatever pace you're running, and you felt good. You stop your watch. Soon as them feet come to a stop, everything shuts down.
Mm-hmm. You hear that Windows log off, like the little theme. As soon as you stop, like you're done.
Oh my God. Hey, that's hilarious. I can't. Hey, if somebody had a video of me today, like I stopped and everything. Next minute, I'm limping as soon as it's over, and it's crazy like how that works. You can finish strong. As soon as your mind knows that you're done, it's like, oh yeah, we good. Pain is back. Adrenaline's done. Pain. That's it. But
it's like you like the teacher that'd be like, the bell doesn't dismiss you. I'll dismiss you. No.
Yeah, I hate that. Like, God,
I'm out of here.
I gotta get to the next class, bro. But yeah, man, it was a great day. Thanks so much for tapping in. I'm Tommie Runs. Follow me on Instagram and all that. And this is Aaron.
Aaron Worldwide. AARONXWORLDWIDE. I'll be running sometime.
Oh,
tap in with me.
You remember Tin Man did that thing when they had like a winner that was gonna come out and train with him? They like gave away like a thing.
Yeah.
I'm walking back to the car up this hill. Like we started walking together with a group of us. Turned out I'm talking to this guy. Like he was the one that won. Like so halfway up this hill, we walking super slow. He ran his first marathon today. I think he ran 250 in his first marathon. He had on them new Adidas that just came out. And they saw like the Tin Man Adidas or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was the one that won. He got to train with them and all that stuff. And he was very thankful and all that. He was a good guy. Good guy.
That's awesome. Shout out to him. Shout out to him in that 250.
Yeah, 250 is a heck of a. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Last second. There's 21 people here. I want to do right. This is the PR project. Remember, we talk about PRs whenever we know about them. So I got the PR bell out. I want to shout out a few people that PR'd this weekend that I know of. If you PR on a weekend, you should let us know because we will shout you out. So PR in the Mag Mile, which is a run the Mag Mile. It's a 10K. Ari that we've talked about before. She ran 35:51.
Ari Hendricks.
Ari Hendricks. She's on the list of Black women born in the U.S. to run sub 3. She's actually like number 3 or 4 on the list. So she actually she jumped straight onto the list. And then Sydney ran a 33:38 and won. 33:38 for 10K is wild. Ring the bell. And then we had Kafuzi, who if you're a Instagram or a YouTube person that likes shoes, you know Kafuzi. He ran in the Oktoberfest 5K. 18:52 was the PR. So shout out to those 3 for PRing. If you guys PR, you know,
shout out Malik Al. I don't want to pronounce your last name wrong, but Malik ran his marathon PR 3:18 BQ. Big 7-minute PR, I believe. Shout out to Malik. Also, we had a few at Prove It. Aaron Morton. Shout out Aaron Morton. Double ran 2 PRs in one day.
2 PRs in one day.
Dang. And he's down like 40 pounds. Like he's killing it. Shout out Aaron Morton.
If you pop up to 2 Mile Tuesday or something, you see Aaron Morton running, and then he dropped down and do push-ups in between. He's getting after it, and it's super dope to see that.
And I believe Jason Robinson also ran a PR as well. So shout out Jason.
Oh, did he? Improve it? What did he do? The 10K? 5K.
I think he ran the 5K. So
dope. Yeah, shout out to everybody that PR this weekend.
A PR is a PR. It doesn't matter if you're an elite or you're brand new.
2 PRs. With Shaka and Menachem,
Dukes.
the twins, Dukes.
Yes, sir.
They both ran PRs. One ran a 257.
Shaka 257 for Shaka, 301 for Menachem.
Yep, 257 PR and BQ, which was like maybe 17 minutes faster than Shaka's last year, same race. And then Menachem dropped down from like what?
I think his was like a 41-minute PR.
41-minute PR. Same course, 1 year difference. Training is crazy. Training does crazy things. So yeah, next time we'll start off with the PR bell. But shout out to everybody that PR'd. If you PR, you know somebody that PRs that needs and should have some recognition, hit us up on Instagram so we can make sure we add. Oh yeah, Twins also redemption energy.
Big redemption.
Big redemption.
That's the title. That's the theme of the day. Redemption.
Dog, because going back to the same race that you hit a wall in, the exact same race,
smacking that race in the face.
Yeah, that's scary. Because you remember like this point, right here, you know. But thank y'all for watching. Super happy about this. Super happy.
He's the guy.
Can't wait to pay this money for. Can't wait to pay this money for Boston. I did think I'm him.
He's him. He's Himothy.
I'm him. All right, bro. All right, thank y'all for watching. Peace out. See y'all next week.